So, what's the true source of creativity? For centuries, we've told ourselves it's love. Today, in this explainer, we're going to put that theory to the test. And we might just discover the real answer is something far more radical.
You know, we've all heard stories like this one. That's Diego Rivera, looking back on his incredibly passionate, often chaotic relationship with Frida Kahlo. And in the end, he saw their love as the absolute best part of his life. It's a powerful story, and it feeds right into that timeless idea: great love inspires great art. That whole narrative of the romantic muse, it's powerful for sure. But you have to ask, right? Is that the whole story? Is it really that simple?
Okay, so to start, let's dive into the traditional view. We're going to look at the science and the stories that really back up this classic idea of the romantic muse.
So get this. Research suggests that romantic love literally changes our brain chemistry. It kicks us into something called global processing, basically a more abstract, big-picture way of seeing the world, which is the perfect breeding ground for creativity. At the same time, we get this hit of dopamine, a hormone that fuels both pleasure and our drive to create. It's like a biological cocktail that's practically begging us to go make something.
And you see this drive perfectly in artists like Sonia and Robert Delaunay. The energy from their partnership wasn't just about inspiring each other's individual work. No, it fueled them to co-found an entire art movement, Orphism, which was this explosion of vibrant color and modern life.
But the love that fuels creativity isn't always romantic. Just take a look at the photographers Bernd and Hilla Becker. They spent their entire lives documenting industrial structures, blast furnaces, water towers, things most of us would just drive by. They called them anonymous sculpture. Their art was born from this intense, emotional love for these overlooked objects, a deep commitment to finding beauty where nobody else was looking.
Okay, but if love and happiness are such powerful muses, how do we explain all the incredible art that comes from the exact opposite? From pain, from grief, and from total turmoil?
Well, there's this really fascinating psychological theory that might shed some light on this. It's called hedonic contingency. The basic idea is that when artists are in a negative mood, they constantly feel like their work isn't good enough. And that dissatisfaction, it drives them to keep going, to keep refining, to push until they create something truly remarkable. Happy artists, on the other hand, they're often more easily satisfied, and they might just stop a little too soon. And this brings us to a really stark and pretty uncomfortable example: the author H.P. Lovecraft. I mean, the man invented an entire literary genre, but by many accounts, his creativity seems to have been fueled by this deep well of negativity and hate. It's a challenging case, and it forces us to look way beyond simple happiness as the only source of inspiration.
And history is just filled with artists who transformed their pain into masterpieces. You look at Van Gogh's painting of his lonely bedroom with those two pillows on a single bed. It is just a gut-wrenching portrait of solitude, where the poet John Keats, writing from this place of desperate, unfulfilled love, sang, "Love is my religion, I could die for you." And he channeled that longing into some of the most profound work ever written.
So this is the crucial point. If the highest joys and the deepest sorrows can both fuel great art, then maybe the source of creativity isn't the type of emotion at all. You know, maybe we've been asking the wrong question this whole time.
And that leads us to a radical new framework from the philosopher John David Garcia, one that actually tries to bring all these contradictions together.
Garcia proposed this startlingly simple equation. Creativity is the product of intelligence and ethics. C equals I times Z.
Okay, now for Garcia, these words have very specific meanings. Intelligence isn't just your IQ, it's your ability to actually predict and control your environment. And ethics, this is the big one, it's not about being a good person, it's a measure of how much you value truth over your own personal happiness. So in this model, creativity isn't just making new stuff, it's generating new understanding for yourself and for other people.
And this leads to a stunning implication. If you have high intelligence, but negative ethics, meaning you prioritize your own comfortable delusions over the hard truth, the result isn't just a lack of creativity. According to Garcia, it becomes actively destructive.
So where does love, the topic we started with, fit into this new equation? Well, Garcia redefines it completely.
In Garcia's view, love is not some passive feeling we get from a muse. It is a deliberate, ethical action. It is the desire and, this is the crucial part, the act of increasing the creativity of another person unconditionally. Love is something you do.
And here is his most radical idea. He argues that this kind of love is the highest form of creativity. Why? Because you are literally creating creativity itself. By helping someone else become more creative, you are performing the most creative act possible. Think about that.
Garcia even laid out a practical path for this, which he called creative transformation. It's a journey that starts with a conscious choice. You commit to maximizing creativity both in yourself and in others. Then you actively practice this ethical love. The key is confronting fear, which he saw as creativity's greatest enemy, and finally, you engage with others in a process of collective creative feedback. His system is built on a few really interesting concepts. That group feedback process is called autopoiesis, a powerful term for self-creation. He believed the ideal setting for this was an octet, a trusted group of 8 people. And the ultimate goal? To build what he called a moral society, an entire culture that is structured to continuously amplify the creativity of everyone inside it. Which leaves us with a final, provocative thought, one that turns our original idea of the romantic muse completely upside down. What if the most creative act isn't expressing our own feelings, but choosing, unconditionally, to ignite the creative spark in someone else?